this video, I'm going to show you how to play your guitar in an open G tuning. You're going to learn several different ways to play chords in this tuning. Not only will you get beautiful sounding music with these open G tuning chords, but they're also quite simple to play and they result in sounds that just aren't possible to replicate in a standard tuning. Hi, this is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net, and did you know that an E chord, for example, can be played on a 6-string instrument in about 150 to 200 unique ways, but only about 20 of those are playable in standard tuning? Not a bad reason for learning to play your guitar in some tunings other than standard, I would think. Today, I'm going to introduce you to open G tuning, which is a very popular open tuning for the guitar. More specifically, we're going to be looking at some various ways you can play chords in this tuning. Now, to tune your guitar to open G, you need to alter the 6th, the 5th, and the 1st strings to a D, G, and D note respectively. So here I've taken the low E and I've tuned it down to a D. My A I've tuned down to a G, and my high E I've tuned up to a D note. Now in doing that, or down rather, you get a G chord when you strum the strings of your guitar together, because now all the open string notes are that make up a G chord, hence the name open G. So I've got a D and a G, and then my regular D, G and B strings, which don't change, and then the high D. So all together, we get the really nice open G tuning sound with that open G chord. Now, many people believe that they have a hard enough time learning guitar in standard tuning, let alone any other tuning, and avoid open tunings altogether. There's also a belief that learning guitar in another tuning is like having to start all over again. Now, this simply isn't true. When learning guitar in a tuning like open G, you already have your technique that you've developed with standard tuning. You know, you can already fret chords, fret shapes, have left and right hand coordination, you've got finger dexterity, etc. So it's completely different compared to when first picking up a guitar to play, and anything but like having to start all over again. Open tunings enhance and broaden your creativity, increase the scope of the sound available to you on the guitar, and make other open tunings much easier to learn. Now today I'm going to run you through several ways you can approach playing chords in an open G tuning. Keep watching the video until the end, where I will have a special free resource for you to take your open G tuning playing further. Okay, so the first approach for playing chords in an open G tuning is bar chords, but in the open G style, if you like. First off, as we explained in the introduction, that's how we play a G chord. We just strum all the open strings. That is G, because as I ran through, we've altered certain open strings to make it a G chord. So no need to fret any chord, it's just G, okay? Which when you think about it, must mean that if you were to bar the 1st fret, all 6 strings, it would be a G sharp chord. And if you go to the 2nd fret, that's now an A chord. It's a movable shape, and it's very simple. We're just simply barring a single fret here at a time, and we're getting like a A sharp or B flat, B, C, and so on and so forth. So it's very easy to play a bar chord because you can do it in a single fret. And this is why open tunings are often really suitable and used a lot with slide guitar playing, because of that ability to play a chord in a single fret. You can imagine having the slide on your finger, it sort of limits the movement there. The first chord progression we're going to play is going to be a G to a D to a C chord. So a 1, a 5 to a 4. So to play that, I simply start with my open strings. That's my G chord. My D would be up here at the 7th fret, and my C is here at the 5th fret. Okay, really simple. Open strings to fretting the 6 strings at the 7th fret for a D chord, and fretting the 5th fret for the C chord. Okay, you get really nice sounding open G, G, C, and D chords there. What's really good about this is that because I'm not having to use any fingers at all for the G and just one finger for each D and C chords, it frees up fingers to allow for possibilities that just wouldn't be really available to us in a standard tuning. To extend on the chords and to embellish. For example, on this first chord, where we don't need any fingers to sound the G, we can put in some nice little chordal fills. This type of thing, okay, which is a really nice sound. When I get up to the D chord, I can get some nice extensions to the chord again as well. What I'm doing here is hammering on my second and my third fingers to the 8th and 9th frets on the 2nd and 4th strings. Now I'm not going to break all this down into real minute detail for you, but if you look below this video, you'll see the pinned comment. You'll see a link in that comment that will take you to a page on my website, and it will have these examples tabbed out for you, so you can check out the details there. The point though is the approach that we can take here, and that is adding extensions to the chords. So on the C, some little higher extensions and so forth. All these things are possible because we only need a single finger to fret the bar chord for each G, D and C. So you might get something like okay, that type of thing. You get some really nice extensions and rhythmic chordal fills happening there, kind of reminiscent of a lot of Rolling Stones stuff perhaps. Keith Richards played in an open G tuning, probably other open tunings too, but an open G was very common for a lot of Rolling Stones songs. So that's one way that we can approach playing chords in an open G tuning. Okay, so now let's have another look at an approach we can take as far as chords are concerned in an open G tuning. So this one is featuring the ringing out of open strings, what I often refer to as droning open strings. But the difference here is that we're in an open tuning, so some of these open strings are irregular compared to what you normally are used to hearing ringing through in standard tuning. Plus, we've got a chord when we strum the open strings here, a straight up chord. So, lots of things become quite simple because of that fact. What we're going to do here is we're going to start with a G chord, a really simple G chord. I'm just going to simply fret the 5th fret on the top string, and I'm going to include open strings 5, 4, 3 and 2 with that fretted note. Not the D in the bottom. So root position G from the 5th string. That's our open G now. So that's a really nice G chord. And then I'm going to drop that note down to the 4th fret. Beautiful sound there. That's a G major 7 chord. I've just simply taken the G on top, the 5th fret, and dropped it to an F sharp, which is the 7th coming into the chord there to make it a major 7th chord. Then I'm going to go to a C chord. In fact, more specifically, a C add 9 chord. So you can see the shape up on the screen there now, right? That's the shape I'm playing, and the open top string there, which is now a D, okay, makes it a C add 9 by adding the D into the chord there. Really nice sound. Nothing quite like the open tuning sound. And then we're going to go to an E minor chord. Okay, you see the shape up on the screen there. If I include the open top string, it becomes an E minor 7, adding that D in there. So I could include that if I wanted to. Okay, and then I'm going to go to a D chord. And we get some open D strings ringing through there. The standard open 4th, I could include the low string there if I wanted to, and the open top string. And then I'm going to return to the C. Okay, so if I'll just run through those chords again for you. So you got the G, you got the G major 7, you got the C, and then we're going up to the E minor 7 or E minor to the G, to the D, and the C add 9. Beautiful sound, right? Really nice sounding chord progression in G there. Okay, so we could play this, with a little bit more of a groove, just to, express it slightly differently, something like this. Something like that, right? Just a little bit more of a groove there. However you want to do it. The main thing is the approach we're taking with the chords, the droning chords in this case, in our open G tuning. Okay, so the third approach I want to have a look at here for open G tuning chords is more of a bluesy approach. Open tunings are great for blues playing. So with an open G tuning, I want to show you a little bit of an approach to creating a shuffle that you could do in a standard tuning, but would be a lot harder to do in a standard tuning, and you still wouldn't quite get the same sound. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to be playing off of similar chords to what I was showing you earlier, the bar chords, just not the whole shape. A bit more of a power chord approach is what we're doing here. So just like you can play a single fret bar chord in open G tuning, you can play a single fret power chord too. And we're going to start with an open G power chord, which is just simply the 5th and 4th strings. Okay, and of course if we're playing a blues, we need a C chord, so a single fret C power chord at the 5th fret, strings 4 and 5. And for the D, of course, just 2 frets higher. So we've got a G power chord down here, we've got a C power chord here, and we've got our D power chord here. Now what we're going to do here on the G and the other chords as they come up is play a bit of a shuffle, a little bit of a line going here. It's going to go like this. Okay, typical little shuffle there. When we go to the C chord, same deal. So we fret the 5th fret, and we get the same sound. And when we get to the D chord, same deal, only up 2 frets higher for the D chord. Now, very cool sound, but what you would have to do if you're in a standard tuning, I'm not obviously, and I'm not going to tune to a standard tuning right now, but if I want to get the same sound in standard tuning, say the C chord for example, well, I'm not going to be able to play a C power chord like that. I'm going to have to go down and play it in the standard way. So, okay, that's fine. But then my pinky is going to have to come up and get the first note that was part of that shuffle pattern. And then it's got to get another fret to get the next note. You know, you're sort of doing this type of thing, which becomes very difficult to do. It's a little easier up higher, but it's still quite stretchy, right, to do. So instead of having to do that, we can just simply hold it down with the one finger, the power chord, and then have plenty of space and time to play the additional parts to the shuffle. Okay, so that's a really popular, common way to shuffle a blues, if you like, in an open G tuning. So I'll just have a play through the progression here, the 12th bar, so you can hear it all together. So. Okay, that type of thing. If you like this video on chords for open G tuning, then you'll love this ebook audio I've created for you called The Acoustic Guitarist's Guide to Open G Tuning. In this ebook, we'll take the tuning of open G further by expanding on the open G chords in today's lesson. I'll show you more beautiful sounding chord shapes and more ways in which you can apply these to open G tuning. You'll also learn some lush sounding open G melodies and riffs to go with these chords, giving you a variety of things to play around with as you familiarize yourself with this tuning. So click the link in the description below this video and download your free ebook audio, The Acoustic Guitarist's Guide to Open G Tuning. Let me know in the comments section what acoustic guitar topics you'd like to see covered in future videos. I read every comment and I would love to hear your suggestions, so let me know. If you like this video, then hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell button so YouTube can tell you when I release a new video. This is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net, and once again, thanks so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your time and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.